Hello everybody, my name's Dylan and today we're going to talk about Speedway Junky, a movie that was first screened at indie festivals in 1999 but only got a theatrical release in 2001 because of difficulty finding a distributor. It was written and directed by Nickolas and distributed by Regent Entertainment. So this movie's 20 years old, and I'm always interested in seeing movies from different times and see the portrayal of gay characters in media and in film through different eras. So our main character is a young straight man named Johnny, played by Jesse Bradford. We see him play in arcade and slot machines, and we learn he's run away from home, from a presumably abusive father. Johnny is surprisingly naive. He gets his stuff stolen on 2 different occasions, so he's stuck wandering the streets of Las Vegas. His dream is to make it to Charlotte, North Carolina and become a race car driver. He eventually gets approached by Eric, a young gay hustler, played by Jordan Brower, and the two become friends. We don't know what type of home life Johnny has had, but we can tell that he's a fish out of water in these new surroundings. When Eric attempts to kiss Johnny one night, Johnny leaves angry. We don't get the sense that Johnny is homophobic per se, but it's obvious he hasn't been around a lot of gay people, street kids, or even hustlers. Johnny attempts to hook up with a girl, but her boyfriend shows up and throws Johnny through a window, so Eric nurses him back to health. The two spend a lot of time together and become good friends and even kindred souls in a way, and inevitably Eric falls in love with Johnny. There's a bit of a running theme that Johnny is a virgin with girls. I mean, I don't know how old Johnny's supposed to be in this movie, like maybe 20? But do you buy that this 20-year-old straight hottie's a virgin? I don't. My god man, how have you avoided girls all this time? Next thing you're gonna tell me is that there's a movie with a bisexual hustling Jonathan Taylor Thomas. What? Seriously? Yeah, Jonathan Taylor Thomas is in this movie, and wow, is he in a different role than what we're used to seeing him in. For those of you who don't remember, Jonathan Taylor Thomas was kind of a teen idol in the 1990s. He starred in a sitcom called Home Improvement alongside Tim Allen, and he's acted in a few TV shows and movies after that, namely a few Disney films and voice acting. So seeing him as a streetwise, swearing bisexual hustler is definitely a change of pace. But at the same time, I don't think actors should be typecast, so good for him for performing in a completely different role. So anyway, we see more shenanigans with Johnny, him helping friends steal from a convenience store, and Johnny begins hustling girls. So I guess he went from a virgin to a hustler. That's quite the transition. One of my big problems with gay-themed movies, or even drama movies in general, is how they end. Sometimes a tragic ending can make sense, but sometimes you feel as though the writer or director just wanted to add a shocking scene. Like, oh, this movie needs something more, let's do this. So, Speedway Junky does suffer from a couple of problems. The first thing I'm wondering is, what is the message to this movie? I guess the message is don't give up on your dreams, but it's definitely a bizarre road that our main character has to take. It's kind of what I call a junk food movie, meaning it's not a bad flick, but it won't enlighten you or open your eyes or teach you anything. You just kind of follow this guy getting into a few bad situations with some odd characters, and you really just go along with it. The second thing I'm wondering is, who's the target audience for this movie? Johnny wants to become a race car driver, but they don't really elaborate on it or even bring up any racer's name, so the movie won't please the racing fanatics. There is a gay character, but it's a one-sided love story on a straight guy, so I don't know if it'll please the LGBT community. You have swearing street kids with some drug use and hustling, so the movie isn't for teenagers either. So who's this movie for? But with my criticisms aside, I do think this movie has a few good things going for it. For one, it definitely has an interesting cast. We have Jonathan Taylor Thomas, JTT. We have Tiffany Amber Thiessen from Saved by the Bell and some other things. Daryl Hannah, another actress with a lengthy career. So the acting all around is fairly decent. I think Jordan Brower and Daryl Hannah in particular are great in this. But what makes this movie for me is the relationship between its two main characters, Johnny and Eric. Even though it's a one-sided love story, these two try to find their footing as friends. I think they have great chemistry together, and that's at the heart of the movie, regardless of what's happening outside of that. I like a good relationship between characters in movies. Whether they're friends or lovers or family, I always like a good connection. So what are the general themes for this movie? Well, this film identifies itself as a crime drama, although I don't think that's the biggest theme. There's a few petty crimes and a bigger crime by the end of the movie. I think good friendship is probably another theme, and in my opinion, it's its strongest point. To me, a bigger theme is a one-sided love affair on a straight guy. If you're gay, you can probably relate to this. You've certainly fallen in love at least once in your life with a straight person. Sadly, that's just the way it is. I'm sure even straight people can relate, falling in love with somebody who doesn't feel the same way. It's difficult and frustrating, but life is cruel. So another theme to this movie is hustling, street youths, and some drug use. So this movie is rated R, although I don't think there's anything extremely graphic. It plays it safe given the subject matter, so it's not quite as gritty as you'd think it could be. Ratings. So how is this movie rated? Well, IMDb has rated it a 5.8 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes has rated it a 29%. So these are fairly low scores. Now, I don't think the movie is that bad. It has a few flaws, but the good stuff really stands out to me. I give Speedway Junky a 6.5 out of 10. It's well paced and you don't really get bored watching it. Those hoping for a love story or a gay rom-com will probably get disappointed, but if you want to see a good friendship between a gay and a straight guy, it might be worth a watch. So, have you seen this movie? What are your opinions on it? Or have you ever fallen in love with somebody who knew you didn't have a chance with? I'm always interested in hearing other people's stories, so give me a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in the next review.